Okay, I figured out part of my problem. So this car was losing boost at a higher RPM over and over and over again. And it kind of dropped off after my last good run, and I was having problems figuring out why. Thought it may be a belt slip issue, which, why wouldn't it be a belt slip issue, looking at it. But I didn't think it was, wasn't sure. I think the throttle body is way too small for what I'm doing. But what I did find for sure was the damper bolt had backed off, and I'm pretty sure it was because the damper is spinning on the crank. And I don't know at what point people pin the cranks in these things, but I can understand why they do now. So I tried putting the bolt in, and either I was stripping the threads in the crank or I'm stretching the bolt, which I think I'm actually stretching the bolt. I'm not sure, but anyhow, I decided, due to the amount of time, I'll just weld the damper straight to the crank. So if it didn't know how to make good boost before, it's going to learn today. So I welded it, and I didn't do a very good job. I ain't got any room to get in there. But anyways, I think it's on there good enough. It's better than what it was. So we'll give that a shot. I brought my laptop with me. So as soon as I get back to the stretch, I'm going to data log it and figure out if that fixes my problem. Alright, so after my little trick of trying to weld the damper straight to the front of the crankshaft didn't work out due to the data log information showing the exact same problem, it just occurred to me later on that maybe it's the bypass valve vacuum canister is bad. So you got this top nipple here that's supposed to have vacuum from a vacuum source. So anything behind the throttle body, between the throttle body and the blower, is vacuum, right? Okay. This bottom one is actually more of a vent. You got a diaphragm in there moving around back and forth, and you have to have, you got air moving on both sides of that diaphragm. So it's more or less a vent, and you're supposed to run that to a source that has a filter behind it. So on the factory GT500 cars, this bottom nipple just ran behind the air filter just to give it a clean source of air. So I'm going to put my vacuum gauge here, a little vacuum pump, and see if we can see that rod moving. It's not doing anything. I'm going to stick my finger underneath this bottom hole, which should be the opposite side of the diaphragm. We're able to hold vacuum, but I should not be able to stick my finger underneath this thing and that be what plugs it off and creates the vacuum. So the rod, if you notice, didn't move at all. And that's what's controlling the bypass valve. So take this off. Is the bypass valve stuck? Well, see if I can get in here. No, I can move it, and it moves freely. There's nothing wrong there. All right. So the only thing I know to do is zip tie that thing to where it doesn't move, just for the test. We'll data log it again and see what that does. Maybe. Alright, since I was having such a hard time getting the thing zip tied to where it stayed shut, I decided to take this canister off. And look at there. There's my problem. This thing is junk. So but you know, this cap had a deformity. I guess I don't know if this blower had been dropped at some point, but there's not a hole in it. I don't think. No, not really a hole in it. So I'm not sure if that's what caused this initially, or was it just time? It looks like probably wasn't helping things. So, all right. So I guess we're going to a permanent shut-off bypass valve, and after I get that thing tied shut, then we'll go for a drive, see what it does. All right, so I drove it, data logged it. It's doing better. It's not losing quite as much boost. Now it's down to, let's see, it's dropping from 9 down to 7, so I'm losing 2 psi. I guess I can live with that for right now. What do you do? I think the throttle body's too small, but that'll be the next thing we change. I ran it with nitrous, and I kept stepping it up while I was at the track, and I went all the way up to a 150 shot, spraying it here behind the blower, and I'll be darned, that thing still has a super hot manifold air temp. It's let's see, when I drove it just a little bit ago, it was 200 degrees at full throttle. I mean, by the end of where I would run it through the RPM, so the nitrous isn't helping near as much as I was hoping that it would. I'm gonna switch bottles, even though I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I'm gonna switch bottles anyways before I go to the track and see if it's not a problem somewhere there. But you can hit full throttle here with this switch, and you can hear the nitrous and everything spraying there. So I don't know, I mean, it's spraying something, just not the good spray, I guess. I don't know. Let's see, what else did I do? I guess that's it. I'm kind of out of ideas. I'm gonna change the oil and put fuel in it and call it good. I've done everything that I can think of to try. I've looked for like evidence of belt slip, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm not saying it's not happening, because why would it not happen with this much gap in here? But I really wish I could make something to wrap this a little tighter, you know, all the way around the pulley. But this belt's pretty tight, you know. I don't want to make it any tighter than it is. So there you have it. If you got any other ideas, run them by me, because I need all the help I can get on this deal. It needs to be a second faster than what it was the other day, or else I'm gonna get freight trained by a damn diesel locomotive Dodge truck. But you know, I don't know. That's it. All right, I'll talk to you later.